Should the Washington Wizards bring back a couple of former players? One of them they should, and another one maybe not. I'm going to tell you who next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Scott again, and I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of former Washington Wizards players who could be looking for another team. So we're going to look at Russell Westbrook and former head coach, or former Lakers head coach, Darvin Ham, who are both former Washington Wizards players, and how they could fit and not fit in the nation's cap. So let's start with Russell Westbrook. And obviously, Russell Westbrook was here from the 2020 to the 2021 season, coming over in a trade from the Houston Rockets, sending John Wall and a protected first-round pick to Houston for Russell Westbrook. And he had actually a really, really good year, his lone year here in D.C. And but first, let's look at a report about him, about how he might be fed up playing in L.A. And I ain't talking about the Lakers, I'm talking about the Clippers. So this comes from NBA Central at the Dunk Central on Twitter, aka X. But the report is was originated from The Athletic. So and it says Russell Westbrook could leave the Clippers for a better opportunity elsewhere, per The Athletic. It says, quote, does the 9-time All-Star and former MVP want to continue in this kind of limited role while playing on the veterans minimum, or might he played his way into a better opportunity elsewhere? Considering the challenges that came with him being relegated to a reserve role, and with team and league sources indicating that the process was far more challenging behind the scenes than team officials have made it appear publicly, the answer may very well be the latter. So looking at that quote, and like I said, with his lone season here in DC, it wasn't a bad season here. He broke the record. He broke Oscar Robinson's record. He averaged a triple-double. Let's take a look at his stats from the 2020-2021 season. He played and started 65 games out of 82. He averaged around 36.4 minutes a game, which was tied for his career average, or a career high, 36.4 minutes. Now, here in DC, he did shoot 43% from field goal, 31% from three. He had 11.5 rebounds, 11.7 assists, and he averaged around 22.2 points a game. Now, other factors to look at: Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal averaged 31 points that year. And the reason for that is, what can Russell Westbrook do? Which is, he can push the pace, which we desperately need. You know, he can attack the basket. He can collapse the defense. He utilized shooters on the outside like Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal's scoring average was a career high that lone season with Russell Westbrook. He got a lot out of other players, including Denny Avdia. You know, Denny himself said that he learned a lot for Russell Westbrook, not only on the court, but also professionalism, leadership, you know, how to conduct yourself as a professional. You know, Rui Hachimura learned a lot from him. Russell Westbrook was able to get a lot out of Rui and Denny. And looking at Daniel Gafford, he owes a lot to Russell Westbrook to a certain degree, because he was the one point guard that really knew how to utilize Daniel Gafford the most. You know, pick and roll situations, you know, as a lob threat, you know, you knew how to set him up. So those are reasons why, you know, maybe they should consider him. But what are some reasons why we shouldn't consider Russell Westbrook? Well, easy. Jordan Poole. A lot of people, including myself, think just Jordan Poole is the future at point guard in Washington. Now, even if they go another route, they could go on the draft, get a Rob Dillingham, and Nikola Topic. You know, there's other names out there for point guard in the draft. But right now, my opinion is, when you already got a guy who can be an all-star one day, who's got a high ceiling, who's proven they can play in the league, who needs to be tinkered with a little bit as far as being that point guard of the future, but has shown that he can do the job in Jordan Poole. So that's one of the reasons we don't need Russ now. You know, like I said, Russ knew he played well here in DC. You know, he got the most out of players like Denny, Rui. The list goes on. You know, Daniel Gafford, Bradley Beal. But this is a different Wizards. You know, like I said, you already got a point guard on the roster that I think should definitely be considered to be the starting point guard going forward. Because, you know, look at it like this: if Russell Westbrook comes in, he's going to want to be the guy. He's going to want to be the starting point guard. If you look at a report, and a lot of reports came out that he wasn't very happy being in a bench role, a limited role. In his stage of his career, he's still chasing the championship, which, I don't know why he come to DC, because it's going to be a little bit for that. But, which, we're going to get into in a little bit, because that's another reason why he wouldn't come. But, for him to come here, he would have to be the guy, which means Jordan Poole's you could put Jordan Poole in a 6-man role, which I think would fit him if Russell Westbrook is the point guard. But, that's the thing. Do you really want to put him back in that role, considering his age, his contract, and the fact that he's shown he can be that guy starting point guard? One reason they could come, leadership. He provided a lot of leadership. Like I said, he showed a lot of young guys in his roster how it is to be a professional. How, work ethic is definitely the MO with Russell Westbrook. He works his tail off. His work ethic is legendary in the league, man. So he's going to show these guys how to prepare themselves for the NBA season, how to get their bodies right. He's definitely going to be a really good leader. And combined with Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, I think that as far as, the culture thing, as far as having veteran leadership, he would definitely be a heck of a leader to have in the locker room. So, there's more reasons why you could bring him here than not. But I think that the reasons why you shouldn't are stronger than the reasons why you should bring him here. Like, obviously he's going to push the pace. Obviously he's going to collapse the defense. Let's take a look at his stats from this season with the LA Clippers. Again, he played 68 games, but he only started 11. So, he was definitely relegated to a bench role. His minutes per game went down the lowest of his career, 22.5. His lowest was with the Lakers, 28.7 when they relegated him to a bench role, but 22 minutes. So, you definitely saw a big cut in his minutes. His scoring average went down to 11. So, that was a big hit on him. 3-point percentage went out to 27. Now, he did last year when he went to the Clips, he did average 35% from 3 and 48% from field goal, but his numbers this year have went down. And maybe his minutes, because he's definitely a guy that needs the ball in his hands. But his performance and his statistics did go down. So in this stage in his career, could he still be that starting point guard for Washington? Because again, we know what he can do, y'all. He can push the pace, collapse defense, utilize shooters. He's a guy who's going to definitely set guys up. Leadership would be great for this team. But in this state right now with this Wizards, it's a different roster construction. It's a different era right now as far as where the Wizards are at. They're going to the year 2 of a rebuild. And again, Jordan Poole, you already got a guy who could be that starting point guard of the future and of the present already on the roster. Now, there's some people that think that we should go in the draft and maybe go out and get a Topic, maybe go out and get a Rob Dillingham. And we'll see. If that's a vision for the front office, then we definitely should be in, because look, the NBA lottery is a week away, y'all. So we're going to see where our pick is, but we're definitely looking at a top 5 pick. So we could get a point guard. But I think that looking at point guard, we do have other areas we need to address, center, but there's still a log jam there. So we'll see what the vision is for the front office. But in my opinion, Jordan Poole should be the starting point guard going forward. We already got a guy who shown he can do the job, who shown that if you're going to put him at 2 guard, you need to have a point guard who can defend, a point guard who can, and Tyus did good being that floor general, but as far as defense, you need to, if you're going to have a backcourt where Jordan Poole is your number 2, you got to have a point guard who can defend, because we know that Jordan Poole can be limited at times defensively. Even though I do charge you, Jordan, if you're watching the show, man, or listening, to definitely work on your defense and definitely add that component to your game, man, because that can definitely solidify yourself as being that point guard. So a lot of good reasons why we should bring Russ here, but the reasons why we shouldn't, I think, far outweigh the reasons why we should, because I think we already got the starting point guard on the roster. Yes, leadership would be good. Yes, he could definitely get the pace rocking, but I think that Jordan Poole could do the same thing. I think that Jordan Poole being the point guard, he could definitely push the pace, and we still have that same situation. Another reason, Jared Butler. Jared Butler, in my opinion, it should be considered the backup point guard. You got the contract. He's shown what he can do. There's a reason why this team trusted him enough to give him an NBA standard contract. So, like I said, the reasons, my reasons why he shouldn't come is Jordan Poole. I think that right now, I don't, with Russ and Jordan Poole, 2 players who need the ball in their hands, I don't know how successful that backcourt could get, and how much could Jordan Poole further develop with Russ being that starting point guard. Because we know, look, again, Russ is definitely going to push the pace. He's definitely going to do all these beautiful things offensively. Defensively, he's definitely a guy who's going to, in his stage of his career, is he that lockdown guy he used to be? No, but he's definitely a guy who's going to put effort and energy on the defensive end. So, he could fit to a certain degree with what Washington is trying to do, a veteran point guard who's going to show, all the right things what to do on and off the court. But right now, I think that really you have to consider Jordan Poole the starting point guard going forward. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of good reasons why you should bring Russ. But in this stage of his career, we're in a rebuild. Go ahead and put the guy in, and when I say the guy, go ahead and put Jordan Poole in that role. Go ahead and let him, definitely grow into the role of starting point guard, because I humbly think that he should be considered the present and future starting point guard for the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. And I think we already got a backup in Jared Butler. So at point guard, I think that if you do make an addition, it should be through the draft and not Russell Westbrook. Because at this stage in his career, I definitely think he should go with a team that's challenging for a championship or the playoffs. But here's the thing: of all the teams that are contending or pushing for a playoff spot, how many, if they add Russell Westbrook, would have him slated in as a starting point guard? So I think to a certain degree, like I said, Russell Westbrook, I've always been a big fan of him. I think that he is a surefire Hall of Famer. I definitely think I would love to see him get that championship chip, man, in stage in his career. Hate him or love him, there's a lot of people that don't like Russell Westbrook, but he's shown that 1 year here in DC, he made his team better. Without Russell Westbrook, we don't make the playoffs. And we barely made it in. We got a gentleman swept by the 76ers. So he had a lot to do with the development of certain players in his roster, Denny and Rui and Daniel Gafford, Gafford's not only, no longer on the team, but he had a lot to do with him advancing as a player. And if you look at Bradley Beal, he owes that Supermax definitely to Russell Westbrook, man, because his best career year was a lone year in the same backcourt as Russell Wilson. So I'm going to say no, guys. Now, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to say no at this stage in his career. I think we're good at point guard. And if we do make an addition, it should definitely be through the draft. So I'm going to say no, but I definitely wish Russ well going forward, man, because, like I said, he came in DC, did his thing, and it was the historical season, him being, breaking the record and averaging a triple-double. So he definitely added some excitement to DC at the point guard position, but I'm going to say no at this point. So before we move on, everybody, tonight's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. So, all right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, Brandon, but there's just so much more good stuff in this game, y'all. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you can work together to build each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you can unlock. And there's so much more to get, y'all. What can you get, you're asking? Oh, unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel boards with. And hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash your buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day while constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that can help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. So there's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the couch, or get off the bench, that is, and go download it for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on, Monopoly Go. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. It's winner take all in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and a lot more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day long? Have to turn on the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports channel, streaming channel that is programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming, y'all. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. And next on the agenda, Lord, we're going to talk about former head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, Darvin Ham. And I'm actually coming off. I looked at a really good I'm trying to think. It's been a long day, y'all. Well, on Bullets, Lord Hammers, on bulletsforever.com, there was a really good column written by Albert Lee. Definitely shout out to Albert Lee, man, to follow him on Al Lee in the DMV on Twitter. And so I'm definitely going to kind of piggyback on Bullets Forever because they bring up three really good points why we should consider Darvin Ham, at least give him an interview. And like I said, I am a Brian Keefe guy. I think that, I'm very impressed with Brian Keefe, and I love what I see, how the team has reacted to him and how he's gotten his team going once he became interim head coach. But, so right now I'm going to kind of add on and piggyback 2 to 3 reasons that Bullets Forever, and like I said, shout out to Bullets Forever and Albert Lee. A lot of good writers over there, man, including Greg Feinberg and Matt Moderno, man. So definitely consider making Bullets Forever your first source as far as really good columns, man, and really good articles, man. So 3 reasons, and I'm kind of, like I said, I'm gonna piggyback off them and kind of add my own twist. So I'm gonna give all credit to Bullets Forever, but they give 3 good reasons why Darvin Ham should be considered. Number one, they said he did coach an overachieving team. All right, so my twist on that is this. Darvin Ham, if you look at the roster construction with the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Couple of superstars and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and you have a supporting cast because of the salaries. Obviously, they had to sign a lot of guys to the league minimum, and you had an assortment of guys from Cam Reddish to the list goes on. Vanderbilt guys. It's kind of a supporting cast with a lot of role guys surrounding LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But what comes along with Anthony Davis and LeBron James? Easy. Egos. He's shown that he can deal with really big egos. And I'm not gonna get into the pros and cons of the egos of Anthony Davis or LeBron James, because in the NBA, most players have egos. So it's not just on LeBron or Anthony Davis. But when superstars bring their own set of ego baggage, right? As compared to average starters and whatnot. So looking at LeBron James, who some people consider him the GOAT, not gonna get into that. He's definitely in the consideration. He's definitely in my top 3 all time, but I'm not a guy that thinks he's a GOAT, but he's a guy who's definitely in consideration. So Darvin Ham has shown he can deal with players with the ego. He can manage egos, which your most successful coaches in the NBA, your Pat Rileys, your Phil Jacksons, the list goes on. That what made them great outside of the X and the O's? Because they knew how to manage egos. If you look at Phil Jackson with the Chicago Bulls, not only Michael Jordan, but Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant for the first half, and the second half, Dennis Rodman. He had to learn how to deal with the egos, which there were plenty of them. You know what I mean? Especially in a dynasty team like that. When going to the Lakers, he had to deal with, Shaq and Kobe in the early stages. Later in their careers, they were actually pretty good friends, but they clashed. And because there's always that battle, the alpha male, who's going to be the guy between Shaq and Kobe. And the success, a lot of the success of the Lakers goes to Phil Jackson. And the same thing with the early Showtime Lakers with Magic and Kareem, Pat Riley, Pat Riley in New York with the Knicks, Pat Riley with the Miami Heat. So, a good coach knows how to not only manage egos, but knows how to corral them enough to get them working together to bring success. They know the right ways to push them. They know the right ways to restrain them. They know how to, restrain the egos to the point where they get them working like a machine. And I think that, that shows a lot about Darvin Ham, because he knows how to handle large egos, man. Definitely dealing with superstars like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Second reason that Bullets Forever puts forward, Ham is part of the Mike Budenholzer coaching tree. Okay, so if you look at Mike Budenholzer, another name that a lot of us Wizards fans are kind of putting forward to be interviewed. And even though I don't think that he would want to come here, you never know. Money talks. But Mike Budenholzer, where does he get his coaching from? Greg Popovich, which to me is one of the best coaches ever coached his game. Greg Popovich coached a perennial powerhouse in San Antonio Spurs with Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and obviously my guy, Tim Duncan, man. And, he was to me, he's one of the greatest coaches ever coached the game. Easy. So, if you look at the coaching tree, the fact that Mike Budenholzer learned from Popovich, and now that you got Darvin Ham who learned from Mike Budenholzer, who if you look at Mike Budenholzer, he's got his own resume himself as a head coach. Looking at the Atlanta Hawks years, looking at with the Milwaukee Bucks and that championship. His resume speaks for itself anyway. So that's another reason I kind of, like I said, these are 3 great reasons that Bullets Forever push forward. So I'm kind of putting my twist on it, and I'm really piggybacking. But this, again, a really good reason, because the knowledge, man. The fact that, number one, he can deal with egos. Number 2, he learned from the best, who learned from the absolute best, in my opinion. And number 3, I don't consider this it could be a reason, but he is a former Wizards player. Yes, Darvin Ham did play for the Wizards, playing for them in the 1997 to 1998 season, where he made 71 appearances, averaging 2 points a game. So, should that be a reason why you bring him? Before Juwan Howard took a role with the Brooklyn Nets, that was one reason why we said maybe he should come here. So familiarity with the organization is always a good thing, right? But we kind of did that already with Wes Unseld. So we'll see. You don't really want that to be a big reason, but you also don't want that to be a reason why you wouldn't, right? So kind of got to look at each case. whether it's Mike Budenholzer, who doesn't have any connection to the team. But so I don't really hold on to that as a reason, but he does have familiarity with the organization. So that's definitely a plus. So those are 3 great reasons, guys, why you should definitely consider Darvin Ham to at least get an interview with the Washington Wizards because, like I said, he knows how to manage ego. So you're looking at a team with Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. And even though, here's the thing, he's not going to have to deal so much with the egos because Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole have shown that they like each other. They can enjoy working with each other. You don't see a lot of turmoil in the locker room like you do in LA. Like I said, I'm not going to throw no shade on LA. They got their issues, and I think there's a lot more than Darvin Ham, in my opinion. So I'm not going to get into that. But I think those are good reasons why you should definitely consider Darvin Ham to at least get a interview. Like I said, I'm a Brian Keefe guy, and you got good coaches here already. And Brian Keefe, you definitely need to interview and consider. Same thing with Vanderpool. Definitely think he should get an interview. So Darvin Ham, in my opinion, should definitely get an interview. Should definitely come in and get an interview with his team. It should definitely be in consideration because, like I said, he knows how to handle and manage egos. I mean, he comes from good pedigree when it comes to coaching, and he's a former player, so he knows the ins and outs of DC and playing in DC. So those are all good reasons why he should definitely be in consideration. So we're going to look at what's going on this week, everybody. We're going to give you a itinerary of the week coming up. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. So when you think of DoorDash, what do you think of? You think of food. Well, they do so much more now, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. I mean, flowers, groceries, the list goes on. So, right now you have Mother's Day coming up, which is a big day for me because I'm a mama's boy. So, you want to make mom smile? Well, easy. Start Mother's Day with flowers or surprise her with gifts from the brand she loves, delivered the very same day with DoorDash because they do more than food. But they do have food too because does your mom have a sweet tooth? Mine does. Is she a tech enthusiast, a beauty connoisseur? Is she outdoorsy? No matter what she's into, you can make her smile with a fruit or flower bouquet, makeup, tech gear, workout wear, and more. So, look, get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place, y'all. And get 50% off your next order, up to $15 off when you spend $15 plus on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order. Now with the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. DoorDash. So let's get into it, everybody. So I'm gonna give you guys a itinerary for the rest of the week. Now tomorrow we will have special guest Craig Hoffman. So definitely tune in for that because I'm gonna get his opinion on how the season went, where we need to go from here, and we're gonna look at the draft and free agency and see what the best fit is for the Washington Wizards going forward. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the coach search. So coach search. So definitely tune in tomorrow, guys, because like I said, we have special guest Craig Hoffman. The rest of the week, Tuesday night, we're going to get into Alex R. So I'm going to break down Alex R's game, how he fits, and how he would fit the team going forward, and what moves does this organization need to make to accommodate him being successful in DC. So we're going to look at a couple more draft prospects, a couple more free agent fits, and we're going to go from there because, look, we a week from now, we're going to actually do a live show for the draft lottery. So draft lottery night, I believe is on the 12th. I got to double check, but on draft lottery night, we're going to do a live video to kind of celebrate where we're at, man. So that is our itinerary going forward, everybody. Like I said, we're starting to get into draft prospects. So I'm going to go ahead and study all the tape I have. And I have looked at Alex R already. So I have a lot of good knowledge as far as his game, his pluses, minuses, his pros, his cons. So I'm going to break his game down, see where he fits, and see what the organization needs to do as far as personnel and system to where Alex R can be successful here in DC. So again, I appreciate you guys, man. I had a brain fart tonight, so definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. Had a minor brain fart, but it is what it is because brother, man, getting old, man. So again, appreciate you guys, man. I will see you guys tomorrow night with special guest Craig Hoffman. So definitely tune in for that. So everybody, I hope everybody had a safe weekend. Everybody enjoyed your weekend. It is Monday, man. So or as recording this is Sunday, but it's the beginning of the week. So try to get through this, guys. We have a lot of good draft content coming your way. So again, love you guys, man. Definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me. And look, comment below. Let me know how you guys feel. Do you think we should bring Russ? Why or why not? And the same thing with Darvin Ham. Should he get an interview and be in consideration to be the next head coach for the Washington Wizards? Why and what not? Or why and why not? So definitely comment below. Hit that notification button to let you guys know when these dope videos come out. And definitely consider, if you're not already a member of Locked On Wizards, definitely consider being a Locked On Wizards member, man, because we have a lot of fun on here, man. We chop it up and we laugh and cry together, man. And we definitely have a long road to go, man. But, man, we have fun on here. So definitely consider becoming a member of Locked On Wizards. So, again, hope you guys have a blessed week. We will see you tomorrow night. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time.